Never have I crossed the threshold of a grand manor before today. And yet, here I am, hesitating outside the sculpted gates of the Kingston estate, with a heart that beats to an anxious tempo. Homes of this stature were merely a fixture of film until now, a slice of an existence that seems a world away from my own. The thought of ringing the bell holds a weight I feel ill-equipped to lift. The Kingstons remain shrouded in mystery online, their lives a series of fragmented whispers across the web. Overnight, the fragmentary insights I had unearthed vanished, as if swallowed by the digital ether. Among the accessible photographs, the identifiable face of the prospective heir, Alex Kingston, emerges, exuding an allure that rivals any silver screen idol. The photos, remnants of a scandalous article alleging his involvement in a drug fiasco, have now been scrubbed from the internet, as though they've been erased from history. I'm far from solitary at the entrance. A collection of women hovers nearby, appearing so perfectly composed they could belong to the elite crew of a private jet. My visage of alabaster strands fluttering in the wind offers a stark contrast to their poised elegance, an unruly mane that latches onto my coat. "You here for the interview as well?" one asks with nonchalance. No, although yes, I suppose so. Revealing my true purpose is forbidden. Clenched within my grasp is the truth. A wrinkled slip adorned with the Kingston name, lying next to this very domain on the paper. The mystery of my origin, and the answer to my presence here, all condensed onto a single tattered note. This battered note was handed to me by the matron of my childhood orphanage. She insisted it was she who carried me, a mere infant, away from this grand estate all those years ago. Yet the tale is not without its tangles. Dear Maru has stepped back from her duties, her health in decline. She's been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, her once vivid memories now fleeting, her clarity dimming. It could well be a concoction of her condition, or a mix-up with another child. Despite the uncertainty, something magnetic pulls me toward this place. But for what reason, I cannot say. My heart is an erratic drumbeat, lost amidst a storm of sentiment. Perhaps my experience is not unlike that of an orphan informed they have kin somewhere out there, maybe even parents awaiting their lost child. My emotional spectrum today is so broad that I feel a stranger to my own mind, prone to bouts of amnesia, lost in fantastical thoughts, and prone to erratic impulses. One instant, I'm set on fleeing. The next, an invisible chain yanks me back. Could I really belong to the Kingstons? Or am I perhaps descended from a line of housekeepers or other staff? Nothing is sure, and direct inquiries often lead down a path of vagueness. "Did you come through an agency?" the interviewer asks, taken aback by my presence. "No, I arrived of my own accord," I reply. You won't be accepted here," she remarks with a courteous, if tight, smile. I frown. "And why is that?" She gestures to her eye, indicating the barely perceptible scar of laser surgery, a testament to the lengths she has gone to fit their exacting standards. "Take these glasses, for example." Her expression softens with misguided sympathy. "Yours won't do here." I know all too well how the bulky lenses distort my features, leaving me vulnerable without their correction. "Maybe I'll consider surgery," I respond with a casual shrug. Not that I can afford such luxuries yet. Her smile somehow conveys the finality I dread, an outsider's gentle rejection. "They won't take you on here," she reiterates gently. Curiosity gets the better of me. May I ask why not? Her eyes drift toward me with a hint of apology. "Madame Kingston has particular standards, especially concerning aesthetics," she says, her words dancing around the truth of my conspicuous albinism. Indeed, my mirror reflects a unique portrait. Albinism characterized by a scarcity of melanin. A canvas birthed almost bereft of color, now washed in hues of pale lilac within my irises. They are perhaps the singular trait I regard with fondness. "Understood. Don't take it to heart. You'd only be wasting precious moments," she offers, her attempt at consolation clear in her tone. A deep breath steadies me. I'll wait, nonetheless. The role of a maid was not the one I envisioned for myself when I came here, but it could prove a sliver of an opening to a truth long obscured. After all, those in service often harbor a wealth of knowledge. The side door near the gates creaks ajar, and from it emerges a woman clothed in a suit of deep blue. Her presence alone commands respect. I inch closer, my curiosity now turned into a fervent flame. Her eyes sweep over us, a swift and calculated scan. "Good afternoon, ladies. No," she addresses us, her gaze landing decisively on me, then moving to dismiss the remaining hopefuls. "Not you, or you? Please, you two, come inside. I beg your pardon." Courage surges, and I step nearer. "Could I possibly speak with a member of the Kingston family?" Her response cut swift and cold. "I've said it once. No." "But she can." A voice, brash and brazen, casts aside her refusal, and from the periphery strides Alex Kingston, defiance in his every step. Unmistakable. The sun has kissed his skin a warm bronze, his smile a flash of ivory amidst the dark of his hair. Designer shoes, jeans cut to fashion perfection. His shirt dares to bear more than propriety might dictate, exposing a bold chain and pendant at his chest. He carries a maelstrom of testosterone and cologne of the richest blend, a walking paradox, at once frosty and ablaze. The archetype of adventure and allure, he is energy incarnate, a spectacle to behold. His arms swing wide in challenge, a showman's call to the eyes that watch him. "Looking for a Kingston?" he teases, charisma framing his jest. "Alex Markovich." The woman's tone is hushed, a feeble attempt to restore some semblance of order. His laughter displaces her reprimand. "Back off, would you?" He strides to a man propped against a sleek car, their hands meet dramatically in the air. "Guess what, Plato?" he says with a lopsided grin. "They're trying to tie me down with marriage." "Ahaha," resounds his companion. "It's their final word. Marriage or bust." "Chill out, Plato. She'll backtrack on the madness soon enough," the friend snickers, waving off the weight of a decision unmade. But Alex shakes his head, a cloud of smoke billowing like a banner of defiance. "Not a chance this time. I've got a pretty good idea who they've got in mind, but let them be damned." I remain an unwitting audience member. Their private drama unfolds, and my attention is held captive. I watch Alex. His every move radiates an assurance that's both unsettling and compelling. His voice, laced with hauteur, echoes in my mind. Yes, he's the archetype, the original blueprint of the bad boy our girls whispered about, sighed over, and boasted of any brief encounter they might have claimed. He's not a part of my narrative, but his allure is undeniable. Snap out of it. There are more pressing matters at hand than being starstruck by local nobility. Alex continues, audacious as ever. "They'll get a wife from me, all right. I'll pick the most unfortunate soul I stumble upon and parade her right through their front door. Oh, how they'll lament this day." His companion chuckles. "They'll bounce her out on her ear as soon as she steps in." A sly grin spreads across Alex's face, a portrait of revengeful satisfaction. Not a bit of it. They wouldn't dare. A scandal frightens them too much. Now, to find such a lady. Their conspiratorial murmurs trail off, their heads bowed over the illuminated screen of his smartphone. "Good afternoon, ladies." "No," she addresses us, her gaze landing decisively on me, then moving to dismiss the remaining hopefuls. "Not you, or you. Please, you two, come inside. I beg your pardon." Courage surges, and I step nearer. "Could I possibly speak with a member of the Kingston family?" Her response cuts swift and cold. "I've said it once. No." "But she can." A voice, brash and brazen, casts aside her refusal, and from the periphery strides Alex Kingston, defiance in his every step. Unmistakable. The sun has kissed his skin a warm bronze, his smile a flash of ivory amidst the dark of his hair. Designer shoes, jeans cut to fashion perfection. His shirt dares to bear more than propriety might dictate, exposing a bold chain and pendant at his chest. He carries a maelstrom of testosterone and cologne of the richest blend, a walking paradox, at once frosty and ablaze. The archetype of adventure and allure, he is energy incarnate, a spectacle to behold. His arms swing wide in challenge, a showman's call to the eyes that watch him. "Looking for a Kingston?" he teases, charisma framing his jest. "Alex Markovich." The woman's tone is hushed, a feeble attempt to restore some semblance of order. His laughter displaces her reprimand. "Back off, would you?" He strides to a man propped against a sleek car, their hands meet dramatically in the air. "Guess what, Plato?" he says with a lopsided grin. "They're trying to tie me down with marriage." "Ahaha," resounds his companion. "It's their final word. Marriage or bust." "Chill out, Plato. She'll backtrack on the madness soon enough," the friend snickers, waving off the weight of a decision unmade. But Alex shakes his head, a cloud of smoke billowing like a banner of defiance. Not a chance this time. I've got a pretty good idea who they've got in mind, but let them be damned. I remain an unwitting audience member. Their private drama unfolds, and my attention is held captive. I watch Alex. His every move radiates an assurance that's both unsettling and compelling. His voice, laced with hauteur, echoes in my mind. Yes, he's the archetype. The original blueprint of the bad boy our girls whispered about, sighed over, and boasted of any brief encounter they might have claimed. He's not a part of my narrative, but his allure is undeniable. Snap out of it. There are more pressing matters at hand than being starstruck by local nobility. Alex continues, audacious as ever. They'll get a wife from me, all right. I'll pick the most unfortunate soul I stumble upon and parade her right through their front door. Oh, how they'll lament this day. His companion chuckles. They'll bounce her out on her ear as soon as she steps in. A sly grin spreads across Alex's face, a portrait of revengeful satisfaction. Not a bit of it. They wouldn't dare. A scandal frightens them too much. Now, to find such a lady, their conspiratorial murmurs trail off, their heads bowed over the illuminated screen of his smartphone. His gaze lifts from the phone, colliding with mine, a connection unintended, but now undeniable. For the right price, and being the compliant girl who follows my every order, he smirks, believing he's laid down an irresistible offer. No. Moving a step backward, the word is a whisper lost amidst the grandeur that surrounds us. His eyes roll in mock desperation. Big money. I take another step back. No. 300 grand. He throws out the number as if it's supposed to change everything. I pivot and quicken my pace along the pavement, distancing myself from his brazen proposals. However, he catches up in strides, spins me around by the shoulder. Hey, wait! I don't mean anything intimate. What are you getting all flustered for? I don't need to pay for women. They come to me willingly. His eyes search mine, a playful curiosity underpinning his words. What I need is a wife. Will you marry me? In a lawyer's luxurious office, amidst leather and mahogany, the discrepancy between this world and mine is stark and merciless. Alex's joke about marrying the most unfortunate rings brutally true. Every item here seems to boast a value that dwarfs the total amount of my modest outfit. Alex is reclining in a huge chair, relaxed but observant, his eyes studying me intently. Will you try to take off your glasses? He suggests with a hint of curiosity in his voice. I twitch at his request. His words sound unexpectedly painful. Is it because, despite everything, I am attracted to him? Do you want me to take off anything else? I ask, deftly adjusting the position of my glasses on the bridge of my nose. Just take them off. What's the problem? There was no agreement to remove anything. You wanted failure, right? Enjoy, Alex. It's impolite to eavesdrop, he says with playful annoyance in his voice, spinning on his heels. So, straight from the shelter? Yes. Is there a problem with this? I ask, feeling the inner trembling reflected in my voice. Why so sensitive? He asks, rolling his eyes. Just asking. In our world, we don't do that. Our golden rule. Touch the nerves of the sensitive, tease the anxious. It's not such a great world you have there. Is yours better? This is also not great. He lazily flicks the ring on his thumb, waiting with obvious boredom. What's taking so long? He finally asks, looking impatient. I apologize for the delay, Mr. Kingston, says the respectable gray-haired lawyer as he returns to the room. He hands over the documents to the now impatient Alex. Sign here, Alex points, pushing a stack of papers towards me. What is this? This is a marriage contract. In a divorce, you leave with what you came with. What's mine remains mine. Adjusting my bulky glasses, I begin to read from above. Are you planning to read the entire stack? He asks, his irritation palpable. We're in a hurry, Lana. Maybe I wanted to be a beautiful fool, but life did not reward me with such luxury. Yes, I'll read, I say, tucking my wayward hair behind my ears to keep it out of my face. This is a standard contract. We discuss the specific terms. In the event of a divorce on my initiative, you will receive $300,000 as compensation. That's all, he half growls, barely containing his irritation. Don't yell at me. Okay, he agrees. raising his hands in a sign of truce. "Read by all means." "I'm not yelling. We just don't want to be late for your wedding." Wedding. I study every line carefully, occasionally Google terms I don't understand on my cracked phone screen, and wait for the phone to freeze. Losing his patience, Alex throws his expensive phone in front of me, unlocking it and opening the uncensored screensaver. "If any part of the contract is unclear, ask," the lawyer suggests, his cool patience a stark contrast to Alex's frustration. "Feel free to ask any questions." "Thank you." Alex walks around the room restlessly. "Come on, you said it yourself. You have nothing. What can I use?" "I don't know you, Alex. You could be a drug addict, unstable, or just a heartless scoundrel." "That's fair. It's me." "Okay, keep reading." I continue, but now there is tension in the air. Alex frowns at my face and I cringe inwardly, realizing that I enjoy saying his name. "Why don't you wear contact lenses?" he asks sharply. "I have my reasons." "It is important." "No, that's not true. That's even better," he decides, going out for a smoke. I take off my glasses to relieve the strain on my eyes. "Water, tea, coffee?" "Just water, please," I ask, feeling strangely awkward and demanding more from this distinguished gentleman. I still wouldn't be able to stomach it. He orders me water through the intercom, and the secretary brings it on a tray with a luxurious glass and a small bowl of decorative ice. Having reached the end of the contract, my gaze skims over the footnotes in. I sign the document. The pen in my hand is heavy. The lawyer nods approvingly at my diligence. "If you may allow me to say, it is very wise of you to read the entire agreement. This is quite rare. Always adhere to this practice." "Thank you," I reply, my voice becoming a soft rustle in the luxurious space. Alex returns and hurriedly signs the papers, looking at the first page only after he has signed. "Melania? Your name is Melania? Is there a problem with this?" "No, it doesn't matter, really," he shrugs nonchalantly. "Let's go too." He opens the door for me and we go outside. In the registry office, I sit quietly, feeling small in the corner, while the clerk fills out forms, requiring a few more signatures from me. "Congratulations, you are now Melania Kingston," the official reports. "I screwed up," Alex mutters, a crazed grin crossing his flushed face. The reality of the situation doesn't fully hit me until we're back at the mansion in the dark. A feeling of fear begins to overtake me. "What were you thinking, Melania? I'm about to enter a house full of strangers, with guards and no one knowing what's going on within its walls." "Okay, Alex, time to put on your body armor," Plato, who was driving us, jokes as we approach the estate. "What kind of freezing? Let's go," Alex prompts me, correctly interpreting my hesitation. Nervous, hungry, exhausted, I take a few steps after him, trying to ward off panic. What to fear? It's not that Kingston had any bad intentions towards me. At worst, I'll be swept out with a broom. I will survive. Perhaps I will be able to see them. Maybe my mother, my grandmother, or my grandfather will be there. Throughout my childhood, I imagined that my mother was forced to leave me, that there were insurmountable circumstances, perhaps illness. I even came up with a name for her, Veronica. I thought it was beautiful. I imagined her sick and forgetting about me because of her illness, but still kind and beautiful. We all told each other such stories. Alex lets me walk in front of him. "Mr. Kingston," the guard approaches. "You know the rules. Only family members." He looks me up and down with a mixture of confusion and curiosity. The estate sparkles with lights illuminating the perfectly manicured lawns, fountain, gazebo, decorative trees and arches. A white stone porch with columns rises majestically in front of us. "She's family," Alex asserts defiantly. "If only you knew, golden boy, how right you would be." "I can't let her through," the guard insists, ignoring Alex's challenge. Silence falls between us and the guard like a heavy curtain, his position uncompromising, his duty clear. Alex furrows his brows, a frown cutting through his usually unshakable confidence. "Listen," Alex begins, and there is steel in his voice now. "Now, this is Melania Kingston, my wife. There's just one new addition to the family, and you're going to miss it, because that's the rule." The guard hesitates, immersed in an internal debate, whether to disobey a standing order or accept the unforeseen turn proposed by the heir to the estate. Reluctantly, he reaches for the radio, awaiting confirmation from his superiors. Meanwhile, I stand amid this clash of wills, trying to maintain my composure, my heart a disordered drum in my chest. Marriage is a word, a bond now legally associated with my name, but it looks less like fate than like chains. I wonder if this is really the final act of a whimsical childhood dream, or the beginning of a more complex narrative. After a few moments, the radio comes to life, and after a short exchange, the guard steps aside, nodding respectfully. "Welcome home, Mrs. Kingston," he says, albeit mechanically. As we walk through the gate, the majestic facade of the Kingston family home looms before us. Every step feels surreal. Every click of my heels on the pavement reminds me of the unknown path I've just embarked on. Alex seems concerned too, as if his spontaneous decision carried more weight than he initially thought. "You'll have to change before dinner," he remarks casually. "We have guests this evening, a proper introduction." The weight of reality falls on me again, heavier than before. Having dinner guests means meeting family, potential attention, or even recognition. A spark of hope flares within me. Could tonight lead to answers about my origins? Will Veronica, the mother of my imagination, be among them? Will this daring adventure shed light on the shadows of my past? In the sudden exuberance of my new reality, I find myself on the threshold of a future that I could never have written, even in the wildest children's fairy tales. As the grand double doors of the Kingston mansion open, I step into a world that seems spun from the threads of another existence, one where crystal chandeliers cast prisms of dancing light across walls laden with art, and polished floors lead to grand halls filled with murmurs of a life I never thought to touch. Dinner passes in a blur of unfamiliar faces, polite nods, and a symphony of silverware against fine chinaware. The family is cordial, their eyes curious but restrained. There's no sign of Veronica or any familiar face that could unravel the mysteries of my past. The night proceeds with toasts and subtle glances, where each "Congratulations, Mrs. Kingston" solidifies the role of a stranger in my own story. As the evening closes and the guests depart, I find myself alone on the balcony, the cool night air a substantial contrast to the warmth of the party inside. Beneath the stars, the vast estate stretches out, a kingdom I've been thrust into not by birthright, but by the whim of an impulsive decision. Alex's presence by my side surprises me, his usual bravado subdued into a contemplative silence. "Never imagined bringing anyone here like this," he confesses with an honesty that seems to carve through his usual facade. "I never imagined being here," I admit, my voice barely more than a whisper. "We both jumped into the deep end, didn't we?" He glances at me, his dark eyes reflecting the moonlight. For a long moment we share the silence, the weight of newfound ties binding us in a tentative truce. As days turn into weeks, life within the Kingston estate becomes a delicate dance, a learning curve where every step forward reveals more of the cacophony and less of the symphony I hoped for. The staff, once distant, become allies. Alex, once an enigma, becomes oddly dependable in his unpredictable ways. In time, I find snippets of my story hidden among the whispers of the estate. Pieces of history that lead me closer to answers I had long sought begin to emerge, puzzle pieces I gather with care. One crisp autumn afternoon, a delicate hand rests upon my shoulder. I turn to find an elderly woman with a soft smile framing her words. "I knew your mother, dear. She was as strong as she was kind." In her eyes, I recognize the fading sparks of a past too long buried. She is the key to the doors I've been longing to unlock all my life. Together, we sit by the fire's glow, and she unfolds tales of love beset by fate. A story of my mother, Veronica, not so distant from the dreams I crafted as a child. As time passes, the mansion becomes a home, not by the grandeur or the name, but by the fragments of a broken past mended into a new beginning. My place within the Kingston legacy is not one I had ever imagined for myself. Not as Melania Kingston, not as the wife of a troubled heir, but as the missing piece of a family portrait, long incomplete. In the echoes of the grand halls, a truth resounds. A journey begun in search of answers has led to a place where questions no longer haunt my nights, and the child who once imagined tales of stars and love finds contentment under their very light. Love and kinship, though born from the strangest of circumstances, grow roots in the nourished soil of understanding and shared history. The end is a new beginning, and for me, Melania Kingston, The story I write from now is one of hope, identity, and an unexpected place called home.